Hello and welcome to part 3 of From Zero to Hero Teaching You C++. In this episode we will continue with classes, but give a more realistic example of what you would use classes for. So let's imagine that you own a car lot, and you want to keep some inventory of bikes and cars, etc. These would have data like registration, make, number of wheels, year built, top speed, and we will need to have more than one of each, so it's a good example of when we would use classes. So let's start. Once again, you can create a new project or modify an old one. I'll be modifying the same one as last time. So first things first, let's create a new class called car. So we click File, New, Class, call it car and add it to the project. Now we'll open the header file. Now we need to add the aforementioned data. This will be in the private section. Firstly, registration. That would be a mixture of characters and numbers, so it'd be better to save it as a string. Next, the make, which will also be a string. Next, the number of wheels, which would be an int. Next, the year built, which will also be an int. And finally, the top speed, which will also be another int. Next, we'll have to add gets and sets for all of those variables. This will be in the public section. This being said, we don't want to add a set for the number of wheels, as that's not going to change from car to car or bike to bike. So that'll declare everything, and in the CPP we need to actually code them. And we have to make sure now to, in the constructor, set the amount of wheels that there are. Okay, now I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. Okay, we're going to move back to main. So we don't need any of this text object stuff anymore, so we can get rid of that. And get rid of the cin as well. We don't need the include either. So now let's create our first car in the same way that we created a text object in the previous episode. So we need to include car. Okay, so now we're going to make an instance of a car. I'm going to call it car1. Now we just need to set the necessary data. So to do this, we will call our setter functions that we wrote. Feel free to make up some fake or realistic data. I'm not a big car person, so I'm just going to fake it. And next we're going to do the same for bike. So firstly we'll add a new class called bike. And because I'm lazy, I'm going to copy in the code that we wrote for car. Preferably not getting rid of the constructor and destructor. That was silly. I'm also going to copy all the code from the CPP. I will have to do some finding and replace here, but that's not too much of a problem. And don't forget to set the number of wheels to 2. Now we're going to go back into the main, include it. That's not bike. And create our own bike. So next we're going to have to add some type of print function into car and bike. So this will be a simple function that takes no parameters, doesn't return anything. All it's going to do is print out car : registration : the registration number, and then make : the make of the car or bike. And we'll do the same in bike. Don't forget to add the declaration into the header file. And we're also going to have to include string and either use std namespace or put std : in front of string and cout. I'm going to put std : in front because it's a little bit more efficient. Okay, I'll save all of those, go back to main. Now we should just have to call car.print, new line, bike.print, and then wait for a key press in just to make sure everything works and run it. Okay, we're going to try and run that, and we forgot to include OStream. Easily fixed. It's because we're using cout, but we haven't included OStream yet. Now we're going to run it. And we forgot to add cin. And we're going to run it. And there we go. You can see car, registration, and make, and same with bike. So next we're going to add another car and print another car, just to show how when using classes it's very easy to do this. We can just copy our car1, call it car2, and then change some stuff. Not so generic make. We will print it out and put another new line in. And when we run this, we should see is it comes up with the new car with the right information in it. So this is where classes can start becoming very useful. However, if we were to add alongside car and bike, bicycle, trike, bus, tank, whatever really, there's a lot of code that you'll need to write out in the same way that bike and car actually have very similar code. In the next episode we will talk about inheritance, which is a way that we can help resolve this issue.